Waitress returns Billionaire's lost ring. What she revealed changed their lives forever. Lisa wiped the table for what felt like the 100th time that day. The Blue Moon diner buzzed with laughter and the clinking of dishes, but her focus was momentarily shattered when she spotted something glinting beneath a crumpled napkin. She brushed it away, revealing a breathtaking diamond ring. It sparkled like the sun hitting glass, blinding against the dullness of her worn-out uniform. It seemed to mock her, a stark reminder of the bills piling up at home and her dreams for her teenage daughter, Emily. The moment was a whirlwind of emotions. Could this ring belong to one of the wealthy tourists who rolled through town, on a quest that felt entirely out of reach for someone like her? Lisa's heart raced as she considered keeping it, her mind flooded with what could be overdue rent, groceries, maybe even a little something special for Emily. Yet, guilt gnawed at her. She knew the weight and value of honesty. Just then, the door swung open with a flourish. In walked Greg, a tech entrepreneur whose reputation preceded him, radiating wealth and confidence. Lisa's breath caught. Noticing the ring, he approached her with a magnetic charm. With every word he spoke, he embodied a world Lisa felt miles apart from, a place of dreams that danced just beyond her grasp. As they talked, she dared to share a piece of her life, her struggles as a single mom working 2 jobs. "I hustle these days," she confessed, trying not to shamefully bow her head. "But it's worth it if Emily can have a better life." He listened, intrigued. Lisa felt an unexpected warmth in their exchange. Before they could dig deeper, the tension descended upon them like a storm cloud. News of Greg's plans to cut funding for the local Veterans Center hit like a brick. Behind the diner's walls, veterans shared stories of resilience, their laughter echoing with memories. As someone who served them countless plates of the diner's best, Lisa's heart flared hot with indignation. She confronted Greg, each word tumbling from her lips with fervor. "Do you know how much this place means to them?" she emphasized, her voice trembling with passion. "You see statistics, but I see heroes. They fought for this community, our community." Lisa's eyes locked onto his, searching for some flicker of comprehension amidst the gold-plated walls he'd built around himself. The air crackled with unresolved tension, yet Lisa sensed Greg wavering. For the first time, she caught a glimpse of the humanity buried beneath the layers of privilege. He looked ready to challenge his own values. Could he change and integrate his resources to elevate their town? "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Just as they started to bridge their worlds, Lisa learned Greg had big plans for the local school system. Scholarships, offering Emily a chance at that college she dreamed of. The thought sent her head spinning. Could she accept help from someone so different? Could he understand her struggles, and still want to change for the better? As she opened her heart to new possibilities, a sudden crisis at the diner jolted them both. The deep-fried scent of fries turned to smoke as chaos erupted. Would the burgeoning bond they built survive this test? Would Lisa's dream for a brighter future crumble alongside the diner's heart? The tension hung heavy in the air, leaving her at a fork in the road. One mistake could send everything spiraling away. Lisa's heart raced as she turned to face the kitchen, smoke billowing thick. She could barely see through the haze, but the frantic shouts of her coworkers echoed in her ears. In a flash, they were scrambling to extinguish flames licking the fryer. The diner's warmth morphed into panic, chaos threatening to swallow the place whole. "Lisa! Grab the extinguisher!" shouted Sarah, her fellow waitress, her eyes wide with fear. Without thinking, Lisa dashed towards the storage closet, her instincts kicking in. As she fumbled for the extinguisher, she could hear the crackling fire competing with the distant sounds of laughter from the dining area. In an instant, The normalcy of the diner warped into a nightmare. Everyone's safe haven was at stake. When she finally swung the extinguisher around, Greg was right beside her, his hands shaky and his face tight with concentration. "On three," he said, his voice firm and steady. They aimed at the base of the flames, the cool foam spraying out with a hiss, smothering the fire like a heavy blanket over an out-of-control blaze. Together, they managed to contain it, but the damage lingered. A deep burn mark stained the fryer, and the air was thick with soot and uncertainty. The moment hung in the air, like the remnants of smoke they both tried to catch their breath from. "Are you okay?" Greg asked, scanning her for injuries, but Lisa shook her head, still on edge, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Just, this isn't how I imagined today going," she murmured, looking around at the diner that had seen so many life stories, all enriched around her tables. Greg chuckled, a gentle sound embedded with relief. "I think we should add extinguishing fires to my resume." Through the haze, Lisa found herself laughing despite the horror. In this moment of reprieve, she caught Greg's eye and felt a connection shift. If he would stand beside her in this chaotic mess, could he stand behind her community when it mattered too? Just then, Emily burst through the door, rushed with worry. She spotted her mom and immediately ran to her side. "Mom. What happened? Are you okay?" "I'm okay," Lisa reassured her, hugging Emily close. "Just a little excitement in the diner today." Emily turned to Greg, her eyes searching his for answers. "Who are you?" "Just a friend trying to help," Greg replied, kneeling down to her eye level. "You must be the amazing Emily your mom's always bragging about." "Mom doesn't brag," Emily replied with a cocky grin, though the worry she felt faded a bit. Lisa's heart swelled with pride as she caught a glimpse of the future her daughter dreamed of, filled with education, hope, and possibilities. She could feel the path growing clearer, weaving through these tough moments. "Let's clean this up and get back to business," Lisa said, determination ripple through her. "This diner is more than just a place, it's our heart." As the team rallied together, banishing the remnants of chaos, Greg stepped forward. "You know, Lisa, I was thinking we can do something. Raise some funds to help with the diner and maybe to keep that veterans center alive. If we come together as a team." Lisa turned to meet his hopeful gaze, giving her a glimpse of the ally she never knew she needed. The weight of the past lifted just enough so that new light could creep in, but then, just as possibilities blossomed, a figure they hadn't anticipated entered the diner's landlord, arms crossed with an expression that could curdle milk. The threat of eviction loomed larger than the fire they just extinguished, and Lisa's heart dropped. "Got a moment?" "We need to talk," he said, his voice steady, the tension of the day now manifesting into fear of losing everything again. What would they do now? Would they let this challenge push them apart when they were finally coming together? Would Lisa fight again to protect what she loved, or would she concede to the weight of the world against her? Lisa's breath caught for a moment, knowing the stakes had never been higher. Lisa stood rooted to the spot, the landlord's words hanging in the air like a thundercloud threatening a storm. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest, suffocating her with every beat. The smell of smoke still lingered, but it was nothing compared to the impending dread filling the diner. Her dream, her life, her daughter's future, everything felt like it was hanging by a thread. "Talk?" Her voice was barely above a whisper, as if she could drown out the reality by not acknowledging it. "We don't have to talk now. Not with everything that just happened. You should have thought of that before letting a grease fire blaze out of control, Lisa," he shot back, his eyes narrowing. "That fryer was the lifeblood of this place, and you've put us all in jeopardy." Around her, the diner's staff was silent, their collective breath held tight. Emily clutched Lisa's hand, sensing the tension in the room. "Mr. Dawson, we can fix this," Greg interjected, stepping forward bravely with a mix of defiance and desperation. "We'll do a fundraiser. The community loves this diner. We can rally support to bounce back. Just give us some time." For a moment, surprise flickered over the landlord's stone-cold face. Lisa wished she could read his mind, but there was only an icy distance in his eyes. "Fundraising?" he scoffed, shaking his head. This ISNTA bake sale, Greg. Time is money in my world. A wave of frustration washed over Lisa. The pressure of their situation was suffocating. Don't you see how hard we're trying? This diner isn't just a business. It's a home for our community. We've weathered storms before. Please, don't take that away from us. Mr. Dawson's expression softened just slightly, but it was enough for Lisa to seize the moment. We can create something meaningful. Help us rally the support we need, and I promise we'll prioritize safety and repairs. Just give us a shot. His gaze cut through her, and Lisa felt vulnerable, exposed. But there was also a quiet strength rising in her heart. Every diner patron, every late-night laughter shared, echoed in her mind. We're not just fighting for us, but for everyone who loves this place. He paused, arms still crossed, seemingly weighing the options. I'll give you a month. If you can't show immediate progress, then I'll start the eviction process. No more chances. Thank you. Lisa gasped, her relief palpable. You won't regret it. As he turned to leave, Greg exchanged a glance with Lisa, one that held a promise, the kind of teamwork she sensed could be life-changing. Emily let go of Lisa's hand. Can I help too, Mom? I can make cookies and sell them. Absolutely, sweetie. We'll make this a community effort, Lisa replied, her heart swelling with pride again. But there was still a nagging worry in the back of her mind. The ring of worry echoed louder than ever. Fundraising was essential, but where would they even begin? Would people believe in them enough to support the diner after this incident? The diners began to murmur amongst themselves, excitement tempered by uncertainty. But amidst it all, Greg stepped beside Lisa, holding her gaze. Together, we can make something great out of this mess. Just think, we could even reach out to some local businesses, share your story, and get them on board. They dove into planning, sketching signs, brainstorming ideas, and remembering the strength that came from community. Lisa felt a spark reignite inside her. But just as hope flickered, a commotion broke outside. A sleek car came to a stop, and out stepped a woman dressed in business attire, a striking figure with an air of authority. Excuse me. I'm looking for the owner of this diner, she called out, her voice cutting through the noise. Lisa's heart fluttered with curiosity. Who could this woman be? What was she after? Whatever you do, don't lose sight of what matters, Greg said, squeezing her shoulder. And in that moment, Lisa realized they were on the brink of something far beyond a simple fundraiser. With uncertainty looming, she wondered if this newcomer could be a blessing or just another challenge waiting to test their resolve. What did she want? Could she be the unexpected ally they desperately needed, or a new hurdle they'd have to overcome? The answers felt crucial, and Lisa knew they were about to dive into yet another chaotic chapter of their fight to save the diner. Lisa took a step forward, drawing in a breath that felt like it could jumpstart her racing heart. She had to know what this woman wanted. The diner was a refuge for so many, and it felt like every second counted. Is that you? The woman's sharp gaze fell on Lisa, and her businesslike demeanor made her seem as if she owned every part of the sidewalk she stepped on. I'm Rachel Bennett. I heard about the fire and wanted to talk. Talk? Lisa echoed, her heart pounding with both hope and trepidation. About what? Business opportunity, Rachel stated, stretching the words slowly like a tantalizing thread. I know you're in a tight spot right now. I admire what you're trying to do here. You've clearly built a community, and it sounds like they want to help. Help? Are you offering funds? Greg interjected, skeptical but intrigued. Rachel nodded, her expression serious yet open. I run a local venture fund. We support initiatives that bring communities together. Your diner, it has potential beyond just a place to eat. It could be a hub, a centerpiece in the efforts to revitalize this entire area. Lisa exchanged glances with Greg, bewildered. But we just need funds to repair the damage first. We can brainstorm about the future later. Rachel smiled, a warm contrast to her sharp business aura. I admire your dedication. But before we help you, we need to see you passionate, not just scraping by. What are you willing to do? I'll do anything, Lisa blurted. She didn't even hesitate. The thought of losing the diner ignited a fire in her. It's not just my dream, it's everyone's. Greg stepped up. We've already started brainstorming for a fundraiser. Maybe we can grow this idea into something bigger? I like that spirit, Rachel replied, her excitement palpable. Let's hold an event the community can come together, and we can use it to showcase what you envision for this diner. We'll draw in local businesses, even media. I'll help you plan it. The mood in the diner shifted, a spark igniting hope in Lisa's heart. We could host an open mic night. Greg interrupted. With local bands, baked goods, food specials. Everyone loves music and good food. Emily, who had been quiet, perked up. And I can do face painting for kids. Lisa felt her eyes widen. Together, they were bubbling with ideas, creating a ripple of excitement that spread through the diner. Rachel encouraged them, sketching potential setups on a napkin, her pen dancing fluidly across its surface. But as anticipation surged, Lisa couldn't shake her unease. Was this opportunity too good to be true? The tension from earlier still clung to the air, a reminder of the fine line they were walking. As Lisa looked around the diner, she saw her friends and family. They believed in the diner as much as she did. The warmth of their shared dream enveloped her, mixing with the thick scent of fried food and coffee. Then, a voice piped from the back. What if someone doesn't show up? What if they just don't care? The words sliced through the excitement like a cold wind. Lisa turned back to Rachel, searching for reassurance. Could they really gather the whole community behind them again? Rachel leaned in, her eyes serious yet kind. You're not just trying to save a business. You're creating a movement. Sometimes bigger forces come into play when you least expect it. Lisa took a breath, igniting courage in her heart. The stakes felt insurmountable, but she had to trust. Trust that they could rally together, trust that the community would stand behind them when it counted most. And as they brainstormed wildly, bouncing ideas around, Lisa fought the gnawing worry creeping in. Would this be just another fleeting promise, or could it be the lifeline they desperately needed? As they began to put all their ideas into place, the atmosphere buzzed with possibilities. Yet behind the excitement lingered a question that hung heavy in the air. Would their efforts translate into support when everything was on the line? And then, just as enthusiasm surged again, a familiar face walked through the diner doors, one that Lisa hadn't seen in years. The figure froze, eyes scanning the crowd and landing on her with an intensity that stopped Lisa's heart. It was someone from her past, someone she thought she'd never see again. What did they want now? Lisa's heart raced. The familiar face, framed by tousled hair and a well-worn leather jacket, stepped further into the diner. As recognition flickered in her mind, it was accompanied by a wave of emotions she hadn't expected, a mix of excitement and unease. It was Jake, her high school sweetheart. What was he doing back in town? Memories flooded her, the laughter, the dreams they had shared over greasy burgers and fries at their favorite booth, and the abrupt ending when he left for college. They hadn't spoken since. Jake? She whispered, barely believing her own voice. The words caught in her throat, trembling with the weight of their shared past. He smiled, though it barely reached his eyes. Hey, Lisa. It's been a while. Her friends paused, sensing the charged moment, their chatter falling away. She could feel their eyes darting between her and Jake, eager for the unfolding drama. The diner felt smaller suddenly, the clamor of voices swirling around her fading into muffled background noise. Yeah, it has, she managed to say, stepping closer. What brings you back? Lisa couldn't disguise the hope that maybe he missed this place too. Maybe he missed her. I heard about the fire, Jake said, his voice steady. came back to help. I want to make sure you and the diner are okay. His words struck a chord deep within her. Help. That's what she needed right now. She glanced at Rachel, who was observing intently, a glimmer of curiosity in her eyes. What do you mean help? Lisa asked, her mind racing. Do you have money, or connections? Jake drew in a breath, running a hand through his hair. Not exactly. I'm more of an ideas guy. I saw the news about the community meeting over the fundraiser. I thought maybe I could pitch in. You know how much this place means to me. The sincerity of his voice surprised her. It felt like a bridge had been built across the years that had separated them. You want to help with the fundraiser? Yeah, why not? I still know a few musicians. I could reach out and get some acts lined up. I may not have the cash, but I can get people interested, Jake replied, his enthusiasm creeping back in. Lisa hesitated, a glint of hope threading through her heart, but skepticism still held her in its grip. But what if you leave again? What if this isn't real? He stepped closer, his eyes locking onto hers, earnest and unyielding. I won't leave. Not this time. I believe in what you're doing here, Lisa. I've watched you hold this community together. I know how hard you've fought. I want to be a part of it, again. The sincerity in his voice thawed the edges of her doubt, but just as she began to feel a shift toward optimism, the unease returned. What if this is just talk? We've both been here before. Jake's gaze softened, and he reached out, gently taking her hand. I came back for a reason. I can't change the past, but I can try to make things right. Let us not let old mistakes hold us back, all right? The warmth of his hand felt like a spark igniting inside her. Could she really trust him, not just with her heart, but with the future of the diner? The idea of collaborating rekindled old flames within her, but the underlying tension of uncertainty remained thick in the air. The diner buzzed with conversations, but her focus was solely on Jake. What if he could hold up his end of the promise? Just then, Emily interrupted their quiet moment with a grin. Hey, more hands mean more ideas. Maybe we can do a throwback night for old time's sake, with Jake's connections. Lisa's breath caught. There was potential here, real potential. Yet a quiet fear knotted in her stomach. What would it mean if everything fell apart again? She turned back to Jake, her heart racing. Okay. Let us do it. But this time it's all or nothing. Jake nodded, determination lighting his features. All or nothing. As they launched back into planning with a renewed sense of purpose, the atmosphere in the diner shifted once more, the sound of excited chatter filling every corner. But as possibilities expanded with every new idea, Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that this reunion was just the beginning of something much bigger and much more complicated. What would happen when the other pieces of her past began to resurface? The door swung open again, and another figure stepped in, a woman with a striking resemblance to Jake. The diner fell silent once more. What was she doing here? And how did she fit into this already tangled web of Lisa's life? Lisa blinked, her mind racing as she tried to absorb the sight before her. The woman stood confidently, her long dark hair cascading down her back, her striking features framed by a simple but elegant dress. There was something undeniably familiar in her stance, in the way she carried herself. Jake. The woman called, her voice clear and ringing like a bell. There you are. I was starting to think I'd have to search the whole town. Every pair of eyes in the diner shifted between the trio, curiosity bubbling over like a pot on the stove. Lisa's heart thudded loudly in her chest. Why was this woman here? Was she family? A friend? The kind of friend that girlfriends were never supposed to be? Jake turned, surprise breaking across his face. Tara? Lisa felt the air grow thicker. The name echoed in her mind, dancing with the shadows of Jake's past. Tara. She had heard that name whispered in long-forgotten conversations, the one who had come immediately after Lisa had left town for a summer job years ago. Of course he would have someone like her around, a college charmer who likely swept him off his feet. "I thought you were busy with the project in the city," Jake asked, his voice faltering slightly. Tara smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I wrapped everything up early, especially when I heard about the diner. I came to help, of course. It's all over social media. Can't believe this place is in trouble. It's iconic." Lisa's stomach twisted. Help? Who was she trying to impress? Did she know about Lisa? The weight of Rachel's concerned glance from the edge of the booth became palpable. This wasn't how Lisa envisioned their reunion, not with Tara stepping in, bright-eyed and confident, as if she belonged here. Jake had brought her back into his life, into their plans. "I didn't know you were back in town," Jake murmured, trying to sound casual but failing. "Well, it didn't seem like the right time to visit before, but now it's obvious I should had my priorities straight." Her tone was laced with a hint of sarcasm, aimed squarely at Lisa. Tension crackled in the air, the once warm atmosphere now feeling heavy and fraught. Lisa cleared her throat. An awkward silence filled the diner, heavy and thick like a late afternoon fog. "Jake and I were just brainstorming ideas for the fundraiser," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "But we could definitely use more hands together, right?" Tara interrupted, cutting through Lisa's words like a knife. "I hope we're not putting you out of work, Lisa. I mean, it's hard to believe you and Jake could manage a charity event alone." Fury sparked in Lisa as she felt the walls start to close in. "Well, we've got plans I know about," Jake added hastily, his gaze darting between the two women. The back and forth felt like a game, but Lisa wasn't interested in playing anymore. Instead, she focused on the pounding of her heart and the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside. "I'm sure we can all work together," Jake said, attempting to quell the brewing storm. "Tara, let us know how you can help. Maybe we can combine our efforts?" Lisa forced herself to smile, though it didn't reflect the worry drumming in her chest. "Sure. More ideas can't hurt." The air remained thick with unspoken words, and Lisa knew the tension would be impossible to diffuse completely, but they had to trudge forward. With the fundraiser looming, the diner's future hung in the balance, and she couldn't let personal feelings overshadow that. But as the conversations resumed, whispers racing around the diner, a deeper worry gnawed at her. What did Jake's history with Tara mean for them now? Then, out of the corner of her eye, Lisa noticed a familiar face peering through the glass window. It was her mother, old and weary but unmistakably worried. The sight ignited a spark of resolve in her. Whatever was threatening to draw her under, Lisa wouldn't let it win. She turned her attention back to Jake and Tara as they discussed plans. The uncertainty still swirled around them like storm clouds, and Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was only just beginning. As the evening wore on, Lisa felt a knot tightening in her stomach. What if this was just the calm before the storm? Would Jake still be by her side when the tempest hit? She looked around the diner, at the friends who had become family, and felt determined. She wouldn't falter now. But as the door swung open again, revealing yet another visitor, Lisa felt a shiver run down her spine. What now? Who else would walk into her life and make this already tangled web even more confusing? The door creaked open slowly, and the sound pierced through the clamor of the diner. Lisa's heart raced as she turned, not knowing what to expect. The newcomer was a tall figure, silhouetted against the fading light outside, and as the door swung shut behind them, the diner filled with a hush that hinted at fresh intrigue. She couldn't see the person's face yet, but the energy was palpable. Lisa squinted as the stranger stepped into the warm glow of the diner's neon lights. It was a man, his dark hair slightly tousled, eyes scanning the room. Her stomach plunged as her thoughts raced. Could it be someone from her past? Someone from Jake's? When he finally approached the counter, all the conversations in the diner came to an abrupt quiet. The man wore an amused smile, as though he was in on a joke no one else understood. "I heard there's a benefit going on," he announced confidently, his voice deep and smooth. "And I might just be the one to help." Jake moved toward him instantly, grinning widely as if he recognized a long-lost friend. "Ethan. Wow, what a surprise. We didn't expect to see you here." Lisa felt a rush of warmth in her cheeks as she shifted her focus. Ethan. The name tickled her memory, and suddenly, flashes of laughter and sunny afternoons danced before her eyes. He had always been the charming one in their circle, the one who left a trail of broken hearts along with his smirks. "Wouldn't miss it for the world, buddy. Heard this old place is in trouble, and we can't let that happen," Ethan said, nudging Jake playfully. He turned, eyes sweeping the diner until they landed on Lisa. "And you're back. Wow, the whole gang is here." Lisa felt the weight of those words hanging in the air. The whole gang. As if they were merely reminiscing about the good old days instead of unraveling the delicate threads of the present moment. Tara's smile faltered as she crossed her arms, eyeing Ethan with equal parts recognition and skepticism. The tension shifted again, coiling tighter, as if the universe was testing their resolve. "What kind of help can you offer?" Tara interjected, her tone quickly shifting to business. "We have ideas, but we can use something substantial." Ethan raised one eyebrow, his charisma radiating like the last rays of sun. "Let's just say I have some connections that could really pull this thing off. But first, we need to see what it is you're all planning." Lisa barely heard his words. She felt trapped between the laughter of memories and an uncertain future. Could Ethan really help? Or was he just another reminder of a life she thought she'd left behind? Meanwhile, Jake's eyes were lighting up with possibilities, yet Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that this was all slipping through her fingers. She needed clarity, a path forward. But there was something about Ethan's sudden appearance that made her dread the kind of chaos his return could bring. The chatter of the diner resumed, wrapping around her like a thick fog. Lisa watched as Jake and Tara animatedly discussed new ideas, and Ethan seamlessly joined in, laughter punctuating their conversation. A knot tightened in her chest. She felt like an outsider in her own life. Was this the reunion she wanted? With each passing moment, an internal voice urged her to step up. The diner was in jeopardy, and she had been fighting for it silently. Was it time to reclaim her voice? "Hey guys," she said, forcing a smile, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. "Maybe we should focus on the specifics. Who's reaching out to local businesses? We need a solid plan to kick things off." Jake nodded enthusiastically, but Ethan's smirk told her he was intrigued by her assertiveness. As they began to outline their strategy, Lisa felt a flicker of hope. But deep down, uncertainty gnawed at her. A shadow lingered, promising upheaval as they prepared for the fundraiser. Tara, Ethan, and the tangled threads binding them all together loomed like broken glass. When the door swung open again, the small bell jingled cheerfully, but this time Lisa felt an unsettling dread. What else was coming? What other secrets would tangle their lives together? The night was still young, but every glance and every word felt like a wave crashing against her heart. She took a deep breath, resolved to fight for what she believed in the diner, her friendships, and maybe even her future. But what challenges awaited her in the shadows? The bell above the door chimed once more, and Lisa turned, her heart racing again. She braced herself, but it was just one of the regulars, old Mr. Jenkins, shuffling in with his usual oversized coat and a smile that lit up his weathered face. The tension in the diner dissipated like steam from a boiling kettle, but not for Lisa. The unexpected return of Ethan loomed like a storm cloud over her thoughts. "Good evening, folks," Mr. Jenkins greeted, settling into his favorite booth. "Hope you haven't been causing too much ruckus without me." As he chuckled, Lisa felt herself relax a little, craving the simplicity of everyday moments in the bustling diner. Yet, when she looked back at the trio by the counter, laughter resumed, tying them together while she remained slightly apart. Jake's excitement was contagious. "Ethan's got ideas. You won't believe how we could turn this place around." His enthusiasm lit a fire in the air. But Lisa's insides twisted. Ideas were fine, but she needed actions, not just talk. Tara detected the shift of Lisa's mood. She caught her eye and tilted her head, a silent question flickering between them. Lisa forced a smile and nodded toward the counter, where the conversation rolled on. She had to stay involved, but memories of Ethan's carefree laughter jolted her back to a time she thought she'd outgrown. "Should I grab some coffee?" Lisa finally asked, breaking the spell. She needed to be purposeful. Filling cups was her task, and she could lose herself in it. "Sure, we could use a coffee runner," Tara quipped, giving Lisa an encouraging nod. As Lisa poured the dark liquid into cups, her fingers slipped momentarily, her thoughts straying to the past. Ethan had always known how to command a room, his charisma was undeniable. But that same charm had caused her heartache, a truth she tried to ignore. He was the embodiment of all she had wanted back then, yet all she feared now. With each refilled cup, she felt a little more grounded. She caught snippets of their chatter, proposals for local business collaborations and ideas to attract customers back into the diner. It sounded good, hopeful, but Lisa wished she could glimpse the future. Could Ethan really deliver on those connections? The unknown wrapped around her, chilling her resolve. "Hey, Lisa. You okay?" Jake's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. He peered at her, concern etching lines on his face. "Yeah, just a little distracted," she admitted, holding his gaze. "I want to make sure we do this right, you know? It's important." "Trust me, we will," he said, his voice steady and sincere. "Let us just take it one step at a time." The camaraderie renewed her strength, and she found herself smiling a bit more genuinely. But behind that smile rested her unease about what losing control of the diner, losing sight of herself, could lead her back into. She couldn't shake the feeling that Ethan's involvement would stir up more than just help. It might bring chaos, too. The rhythm of the diner kept humming along. Mr. Jenkins ordered a slice of pie, visibly delighted when Lisa slid it in front of him. But as she wandered back to her friends, focusing on the present, she felt Ethan's eyes on her. That tantalizing spark of connection was still there, hidden beneath the surface. "Lisa." Ethan called out, his voice weaving through the noise. She paused, feeling a mix of dread and curiosity. "Yeah?" She turned, heart pounding like the diner's old jukebox. He leaned against the counter, a conspiratorial glint in his eye. "What's really going on? This diner means a lot to all of us, but to you there's more to it, isn't there?" His question hung heavy in the air as her breath caught. She could feel the walls closing in, urging her to dive deeper into the truth, deeper into the chaos she had been avoiding. Would she dare to open up? And as a gust of wind rattled the window, she stood on the threshold of a revelation. What was she truly afraid of? What secrets was she hiding even from herself? The night felt electric, like a storm on the horizon. She had to decide, would she let Ethan's charm pull her back into an old pattern or rise above it all to reclaim her strength? As another customer walked through the door, her heart raced again. The challenges were mounting, and they were just beginning. What was about to unfold would change everything. Lisa felt trapped in the gaze of Ethan, the air thick with unsaid words. Her heart thudded, an urgent beat in a world that had suddenly turned into slow motion. She thought of the diner, the memories woven into its worn booths, the laughter shared over greasy plates, the dreams that felt stable and within reach. Yet Ethan's presence cracked that stability. The charisma she once adored glimmered dangerously in the dim light. "It's just the diner," she whispered, unsure if she was talking to him or to herself. "Just the diner?" He echoed, a faint grin beginning to unfurl across his handsome face. "Nah, I don't believe that. This place is your heart, Lisa. And you're playing it way too cool." Her breath hitched. Those words tugged at something deep within her. What did he know? How could he possibly understand the weight she carried, the anxiety that this place, the heart of her childhood, might drift from her grasp, caught up in his whirlwind of ideas and ambition. "Look," she said, forcing a steadiness into her voice, "I just don't want it to change." The honesty surprised even her. Ethan leaned closer, his voice dropping to just above a whisper. "Change can be good. You know that, right?" She wanted to argue but felt his sincerity. It reminded her of the thrill that once accompanied his every word. For a second, time blurred around them, an electric current igniting memories of a shared summer, days before life tangled them apart. "Hey! What's this, a soap opera?" Jake interrupted, breaking the thickness of the moment. "We need to refocus. Let's brainstorm." Lisa shot Jake a grateful look, but the heat in her cheeks lingered from Ethan's nearness. "Yeah, of course," she said quickly, the buzz of activity snapping her back. The diner needed them, and she couldn't lose sight of that. As the night progressed, ideas flew back and forth with vibrant energy. They explored pop-up events, morning specials, and even theme nights. Laughter bubbled up around the counter, mixing with the sense of freshly baked pies and sizzling bacon. It cocooned her in a sense of belonging. Yet, amid the excitement, Lisa kept glancing at Ethan. There was an undeniable pull, a dance between the past and her curated present. "Here's an idea," Tara exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "We could host open mic nights. Bring in local talent, create a sense of community." Ethan jumped in, enthusiasm radiating from him. "Absolutely. That could be our way to not just draw in customers, but build connections." Lisa nodded slowly. "I like that." But with the approval came the unease again. "But what if it doesn't work? What if it does?" Ethan tossed back, his tone playful but layered. "Wouldn't you want to be a part of that?" She paused, the room full of chatter fading into the background. What did she want? Was she ready to strain against the fears that had held her back? Yet she felt something more, a flicker of excitement, perhaps, and it scared her as much as it thrilled her. As they continued brainstorming, she glanced at Ethan, who wore that familiar half-smile. What was it about him that unraveled her usually steady heart? "Can I ask you something?" she said at last, looking directly at him. "Anything," he replied, encouraging. "Why do you really want to be here? To help us?" A different light sparked in his eyes. "Because I can't help but see potential in this diner and in you, Lisa." His honesty sliced through her defenses, igniting a vulnerability that shook her. She felt raw, like she had been stripped of her armor. But before she could respond, Mr. Jenkins raised his voice. "Hey! Don't forget the old man over here." Laughter erupted again, lifting the air between them. Just like that, their moment slipped away, but it left an imprint. Lisa realized, as she returned to the rhythm of the diner, that the answers she sought were tied to her willingness to embrace the uncertainty ahead. As her eyes flickered back to Ethan, he caught her gaze. That same glimmer of understanding shone back, promising that this journey was only beginning. Would she have the courage to open up, to allow herself to soar with the possibilities, or would she keep her heart hidden, fearing what could be lost once more? The question lingered, echoing in the distance as the diner filled with laughter and hope. And deep down, Lisa knew that whatever came next would change everything. The fundraiser was just days away, and the energy in the diner crackled with anticipation. Chairs were stacked in neat rows, signs were being painted, and the smell of fresh coffee mingled with the sweet scent of Emily's cookies wafting from the kitchen. Lisa felt a cautious hope swell within her. Every day brought new challenges, but she stood stronger, fueled by the support surrounding her. Eva, the local artist, had jumped on board, pledging to promote the event to the local circle. Greg had secured commitments from local businesses to donate items for a silent auction, all while Tara worked on the decorations with fevered excitement, but it wasn't just the preparation that put a smile on Lisa's face. It was the depth of the friendships being forged within that space. She caught Tara and Emily bonding over face paint designs while Jake bantered with Greg, and the laughter from their playful exchanges warmed her heart. All of it felt like a tapestry woven from shared stories, struggles, and budding connections, and still, in the back of her mind danced the specter of Ethan. They exchanged glances as they strategized, little bursts of tension lacing the air between them. Lisa found herself reflecting on who she was becoming, a woman ready to seize her dreams, yet still grappling with the echoes of the past. Each moment with Ethan made her question if opening her heart once more was worth the risk. The day of the fundraiser arrived, and Lisa woke up with an electrifying mix of nerves and excitement. She stepped out of her apartment, her heart racing not just for the event but for her future. As she walked in, she saw the diner transformed. A stage had been set up, lights twinkling like stars overhead, while tables lay adorned with flowers donated by local florists. Emily dashed past, her face painted with colorful designs, beaming as she checked on everything. "Mom, it's going to be awesome," she declared, her eyes shining bright with hope. Lisa smiled, pulling Emily into a tight hug. "You're right. You're my good luck charm." As the crowd began to thin in, she could feel the atmosphere shift. Community members filled the diner, hearts open and ready to embrace the cause. Old friends like Mr. Jenkins arrived, chiming in with laughter and stories. There were supportive nods from those whose lives had been touched by the diner's warmth and spirit. No one failed to notice the hum of inclusive love pouring through the old walls. Just as the festivities began rolling, Jake raised the microphone. "Hey everyone! I know we're all here for a good time, but let us remember it's for a great cause." His voice rang out with the promise of community support. When he gestured to Lisa to join him, she hesitated only a moment before stepping up. With the microphone in hand, Lisa felt a wave of warmth wash over her. "Thank you all for being here today," she said. "This diner is our home. It's where laughter, stories, and dreams come alive. We've faced hard times, but with your support, we're not just saving a diner, we're preserving a slice of our community." Cheers erupted, and she spotted Ethan at the edge of the crowd, grinning encouragingly. Strength washed through her, igniting the hope that had flickered within. She glanced out at familiar faces, looking back at her with warmth, solidarity, and faith. As the night went on, laughter bounced off walls, music filled the air with joy, and Lisa felt the burden on her heart gradually lighten. It wasn't just about raising money anymore, it was about love, shared experiences, and connection to each other, to their past, and to the future. The auction brought in incredible support from local businesses, each donation reflecting the community's heart. The local bands took turns performing, and Emily sat on the sidelines, eyes wide with joy as she cheered for them, feeling part of something much bigger than herself. Later, as the din settled down, Lisa caught a moment where she found herself in Ethan's gaze once more. Amid the noise, it felt like the world around them paused. "You did it," he said softly. "You brought us all together." Lisa smiled, her heart open wide. "We did it," she corrected gently, feeling the warmth of what they had co-created. "I couldn't have without everyone here." "I'm beginning to see that you're something truly special, Lisa," he said, sincerity etched in his expression. Who she had been felt distant, a past washed in uncertainty, while who she was being became clearer. It wasn't about running from problems anymore. It was about facing them with an army behind her. As the night drew closer to an end, Lisa stepped outside. The stars twinkled brightly against the deep night, mirroring the radiant hope she felt. The diner stood resilient behind her, full of life and stories waiting to be told. This was the moment Lisa had yearned for, the chance to rebuild not just her dreams but the connections that had once felt strained. From the shadows behind, she felt a presence. Turning, she found Tara with a tentative smile. "You did amazing tonight. You really pulled this together." "Thanks," Lisa replied, vulnerable yet emboldened. "Thanks for the support." Behind them, Jake approached. "Hey. Let us celebrate. We can keep the magic going." Just as laughter bubbled anew, Emily rushed out, eyes gleaming. "Mom. Can we have another open mic night? I want to perform." Lisa beamed at her daughter, the fullness of pride wrapping around her heart like a warm blanket. Absolutely. She could envision what was ahead, a life rich with dreams, with struggles but also with victory, growth, and love. As Lisa stepped back inside, she saw Greg and the team gathered, joking, excitement in every corner. She felt herself growing, bursting with possibilities. All the fears she once held were fading. This was the definition of home, a community rising together, and from across the room, Ethan's eyes met hers again, and this time, the tension felt different. This time, it was laced with trust, and in the depths of chaos, Lisa had discovered clarity. They were just beginning to figure out their paths, and the diner was theirs to nurture together. Lisa took a deep breath, ready for whatever awaited. The future loomed bright, and she found herself more than ready to embrace it. Now was the time together. Wait another second. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, helping us share these heartfelt journeys. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Let's talk about the transformation together. Share instantly this video with 5 friends who need to see this fire within. Remind them of their power too. True fans know the importance of supporting this channel. This is the moment to show your support.